Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Um, I put that deal in there. Coming to Thailand was an afterthought of things. Let me see. Is that my phone? I think so. There we go. Rookie mistake. Anyway, uh, I put it in there because, and I'm glad that 30 and a Wake Up is going to come on here in a minute. I'll post that link here in a minute because he's obviously in queue right now. So get some good insight. Everybody pretty much knows the way I stand on it. Hell, I'd rather be in Thailand than anywhere. So I'd give it. It doesn't matter whether I'm taking a. And I think it's about a I don't know 98% chance that nothing's going to happen to you going into Phuket. So you're taking a 1 or 2, 3% chance of having a false positive or going through any of the bullshit. But excuse my French. It's a family show. Anyway, so everybody knows pretty much how I stand. Maybe Mark will want to come on later if he's in the room. Hi everybody. Anyway, who's here? Bodo, uh, Robert Mack, Brock was I think here first one in, or uh, Tommy J. Who else? 30 and a Wake Up, of course. Everybody was talking and rapping. Oh, Joe was. Is he gone already? He probably just popped in and he won't come back until afterwards. Hey, Andy, what's up? So, and Mitch is going to Italy, so he can probably give some insight on not necessarily Thailand, but going someplace other than your home country. Now, I think Italy's a lot more lax on going in, right? Pretty much, Mitch. Yeah,
Yeah, it is. It's
yeah.
they don't call it quarantine. They call it self-isolation for 10 days, either in a hotel or your residence.
I see. I see.
So I'll be in
Yeah.
the
So
residence.
yeah. So I don't know. And I bring. We'll bring on 30 and a
Hello,
wake up here.
everyone.
Let me paste this for
Swear
you.
jar. Let me grab it. Oh,
Swear
wait,
jar. I
mine's
know.
full. I
I
need a
know. I
bigger
need it.
jar.
I need it. I need more money. I need to bump it up. But and he's in queue. We'll ask him when he gets here in Bangkok, right? 30 and a wake up. He's in Bangkok.
Correct. Yeah, yeah. I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to that. Shrink me
Yeah.
down. Shrink me way down and put Kevin right up there.
It should go three even, I think. Um, let's see,
Oh, okay.
find a space from New Mexico. And I guess Mexico's not bad either, but mainly we're going to talk about Thailand because that's what we here for. I'm here. Um, just to get people's input. Like I said, everybody pretty much knows from listening to me. It's a no-brainer for me. The biggest thing now, I guess, the Thai people are starting to get in an uproar and everything about not being able to get the vaccine, so they're getting a little cranky. Um, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully, the United States is going to jump in here. And 30 and a wake ups here will bring them in.
Yeah, hopefully
Hey,
I'll try it.
how
Hey,
you
what's
doing?
going on? How y'all
Nice
doing?
to meet you. My name's
Yeah,
Hey,
Dave,
nice to
by
Kevin.
the
meet
way.
you.
What's your name? My name's Dave.
My name is Kevin.
Hey, Kevin, pleased to meet you. I know you know Mitch, so we won't worry about that. But yeah, give us a little insight on what you think and what you've gone through so far, and whether you think whether you think it's worth it or not. You probably can't really talk about that till you get out of there. But and
Yeah,
are they going to let you out of Bangkok? Are you going to be able to get out of Bangkok and go
yeah.
anywhere?
I mean, there's probably a bunch of people that have no idea who I am. So I was in the military for 20 years. I started coming to Thailand in 1998. That was the first time I came, and just kind of fell in love with the place over the years. And in 2019, I quit my job to do the whole YouTube thing and travel full time and kind of be a an expat nomad, live that kind of life. And I was trying to look for like home bases in different parts of the world. So like one in Europe, one in Asia, and then obviously my home base in the United States as a way to travel vlog out of an area. Like, if you're in Thailand, you guys know this, you can fly to almost anywhere under 50 bucks, Cambodia, Vietnam, Malaysia,
Yeah,
the list goes on and on. And then Thailand obviously has a ridiculous amount of places to go that are, travel vlogger worthy, I guess. And I just love the place. And so, um, the only, as you guys know, the only pain in the butt about Thailand is the visa usually, especially in the last few years. It used to be a lot easier, but recently they've been clamping down on that. And so, I love the place so much. I was like, you know what, I'm just going to commit and get a Thai elite visa. I'm not 50, so I couldn't do the retirement visa. And so, I committed to the long-term visa. So I'm in Thailand in more of a, like I'm coming here long-term. It's going to be kind of my home base, and I'm willing to stay here however long it is to get through this pandemic. And so for me, the 14-day quarantine is just like kind of a drop in the bucket. I love this place so much. I'm willing to endure this.
That's the way I am too.
Yeah. And so for me, the 14-day quarantine is not really that big a deal. I'm kind of an introvert, loner type anyway. So for me, it's like, it's easy. Like it's not hard. I do a lot of live streams like you're doing. And that's like, that keeps me mentally sane because you're able to talk to people that and it's not the same as being across from them in a pub or something, but it's really close.
Yeah,
it's not that
I think so too.
Yeah. So for me, so far I'm on day 6 and it's been okay. I mean, it's not like my ideal situation. I can actually, I don't know if you can see this. I'm about 3 blocks away from Nana Plaza. So right down here is like the backside, like the Holiday Inn Express is over here. You guys probably know where that is. And normally when I used to come here, this whole road would just be packed with people because there's a bunch of local Thai stuff. And it's been pretty dead, which is kind of crazy. So I'm kind of interested to see Bangkok like that, like kind of like a ghost town city. So for me, it's not that big a deal. And I know at some point this stuff will be over and there'll be, 8 million people running around again. So
I know that Mitch had turned me on to your channel a while back, not too long ago. And I did watch your one, and you said one thing you mentioned was the only thing that you would do different about doing your quarantine is you think you would have opted for a balcony. I think I heard you say that on your live stream. Yeah, I think I would too.
So I was having trouble. Yeah, I was having trouble finding balcony hotels, and most of the hotels in Bangkok don't have balconies. I don't know. Most people don't know that, but most of them don't have balconies. They're like big concrete. Well, even like Holiday Inn or Hilton or whatever you can think of in your mind, they're like big cinder blocks, and then they carved out windows in them. So most of them don't have it anyway, which is why I got this big, wall of windows that I have here, so I can at least feel outside. But then I started watching some other vloggers, and what they had was ground floor condos that had like decks that like were near the pool, and they could go out into those areas. So if I could do it all over again, I would try to find one of those. I actually think my hotel has them, but they won't let me move rooms. I tried. I was like, hey, like you guys, I see all these little things down by the pool, and you can see where the deck is like roped off so people could go out onto their deck outside.
Right.
And they were like, yeah, we can't move you. Once you're in a room, you're in a room. So that is what it is.
Couple of people that did. One guy who's a vlogger now, he did it in Phuket, but way before the Sandbox. And he got himself a little room, a villa with a pool and an outdoor area, and they had set up weights for him, and he had it made. He said it went by like that.
I wish I had something. I would have done something like that. Phuket, it probably makes more sense. Like that, there's a lot of balcony units. I'd love to have like an ocean view balcony unit in Phuket.
But now I heard you say too. I think I have watched one or two of at least one of your live streams. I know you had mentioned that, or somebody had mentioned or asked you, was that you basically did all this on way before Phuket Sandbox was even an idea. That's why you're in Bangkok, correct? Yeah. Yeah,
I kind of made the decision to get the long-term visa in Thailand probably about 6 months ago. I'd already been exploring it, like trying to figure out ways where I could get a long-term visa where it wasn't a huge pain in the butt to live in Thailand. and all roads kept leading back to the Thai Elite visa. I know that's, a lot of people think that's a really expensive option, but for me, I was like, for 20 years, it really comes down to, I did the math. It really comes down to $3 a day. So, so when you break it down to that, it wasn't that big a deal for me.
And you got
And
peace of mind for 20 years. You don't have to worry about nothing. Me, it
yeah,
wouldn't. Me,
only the
me, I
90-day
wouldn't do
report.
it.
That's it. Yeah, only the
Me,
90-day report.
Right? Yeah, me, I wouldn't. And I think they're going to cut that out too. But we could talk about that. But
Yeah,
me, it wouldn't. Me, it wouldn't make sense because I'm 64. I'll probably be dead in 20 years. So
yeah,
I feel like I got ripped off. But we're hoping for an actual death live on YouTube. But it may happen. You never know. But
well, I
yeah,
tell
it's
people
good.
all, yeah,
Go ahead.
people
Go
ask
ahead.
me all the time about like traveling full time. Like, when am I going to quit traveling full time? And I'm like, never. Like, I hope I'm like live streaming on like Cape Matterhorn or something, and I kick over mid live
Yeah,
stream at like
perfect.
85.
I
Like
can think of a
just
lot worse
I
ways
love
to go.
traveling.
I can
Yeah,
think of a
yeah,
lot
I love
worse ways to
traveling.
go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
What about now? Are you gonna? I know a lot of people, people that I know, they're based and they like to travel around Thailand. They're based in Bangkok because they can jump on a plane in 15 minutes and be, any place in Thailand or, like you said, Vietnam, Cambodia. I guess for the vlogger, for what you're talking about, are you gonna hub yourself right there or near airport or something like that, or what's your
Yeah,
plans?
yeah. I mean, I've always had this fear of commitment in my life and about a million different things. Other than being in the military, I was in the military for 20 years, so I guess I have been able to make a commitment in my life. Um, and that's why my channel is called 30 and a Wake Up, because I like to live in a place for 30 days and then go somewhere new. So even when I'm in a city like Bangkok, my first Airbnb in Bangkok is for a month in on Newt, and I'm sure I'm going to love the on Newt neighborhood. But after 30 days, if after 30 days I'm actually going down to patio, I've already got that Airbnb booked. But if I was going to stay in Bangkok, I would just book a book a Airbnb in Ekamai, or book an Airbnb,
Right.
like
Sure.
so I think Thailand will be my home base, not necessarily a
Bangkok.
city. Me personally, I actually prefer, if I was going to make a home base in Chiang Mai or in Thailand, it would be somewhere up north. I just prefer the more laid back lifestyle up north if I was going to like make a home base. But
All right.
I probably never will. I'll probably be Airbnb in it the whole time, and it just gives me a lot of flexibility um, for the style of travel I do, which is very like spontaneous and impromptu. Like, if you got a 1 year lease, you're paying I don't know, 15,000 baht for a place in Bangkok, but maybe I want to go to Phuket for a month, and now I'm
Sure.
paying double because I want to go down to Phuket for a month. So I just like having the flexibility of not being on a lease, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, the I don't know if you're familiar with the two here, which I have right now. I've had both of them for the last 2 years. Is the Air Asia Pass? I paid 3,500
Oh,
baht, and it was good. I bought it a while ago, and it's only supposed to be good until December. And what it is you only pay the taxes. Like, we got to use it once. I paid 3,500 for me and 3,500 for my wife. You only get the 7 kilo one bag,
that's
luggage
my
thing.
thing.
Yeah,
That's
that's
my thing.
mine
I
too.
only travel with
That's
one
mine
bag.
too.
So
That's me. So, and we took one trip before all the crap. My wife doesn't like me going out because I don't know if you know much about me, but I've had health problems over the past year, but I'm fine now, by the way. But anyway, it we took one trip to Bangkok, me and her, and it cost us 600 baht for both of us round trip from Buriram to Bangkok. So it pretty much paid for it, because I think if I would have got a regular ticket there, but she just told me yesterday, and the reason I'm leading into this is in case anybody has that, they have extended it to March. It was supposed to end in December, but because of all the stuff going on, AirAsia has extended it. But it might be
that's
something
awesome.
that you might want to check into, because
Yeah,
I got one
absolutely.
buddy. I don't know if you know Mike's live my ass off. I don't know if you know his deal. He's a small YouTuber.
I've
He's in
probably seen
Bangkok.
him on. Yeah.
He's in Bangkok, bald guy. He's a great guy. He's with Dana too. Dana's
All the
bald.
YouTube, all the
Yeah,
Thailand
all right.
YouTubers look
I'm
like
bald.
us, beards and bald. It's
He's a
like,
great guy. Dana's a good guy too. Ideal. What is the name of it? Mitch. Dana's channel. Oh, he's. Do I have you muted? Oh, I do. How did I mute you, Mitch?
I think he muted himself.
Oh, he did unmute my. Oh, it says you muted. You muted. Oh, but anyway, Dana's a good guy. They do a show which they haven't done because of the virus.
Technical difficulties in the brain
Bangkok,
pan.
Bangkok Strange, where they're on there and they just do live streams. But anyway, he bought it, and he just married his Filipino wife, and been trying to didn't hadn't seen her in a long time, but he's basing out of Bangkok because they're only in Bangkok for a week and they get on a plane and go to Chumpan, or they get there for 2 weeks or a week, come back to Bangkok for 2 or 3 days and fly to Phuket or all over. So if it's something like that, then
So,
I
so
can
it's
see
$3,500 for a year, or
30
3,500 baht for a year.
for a year. Well, yeah, it ran. I think I got it, and I want to say in January or early February till December. So yeah, pretty much a year.
And you can fly unlimited
Anywhere
air.
inside of Thailand.
Yeah,
You
but I
can't
mean, it's
fly
like you can just.
unlimited.
I think you
Unlimited.
just
Oh,
pay the
that's
tax, right, Dave?
The
Is
only
that
thing,
right?
yeah, just the tax.
Oh,
A
man.
normal flight's like two
All
to
right, man.
500 baht round trip, 2 to 500 baht, and what it is, yeah, you like me talking with my hands. I'm Italian.
No,
by
I'm
the way.
doing it.
But
Interacting
but
with the
yeah, it's unbelievable. I had the last one too. I went to Chumpan, went to Bangkok 3, 4, 5 times. Went to Hua Hin, I went a lot of places. I don't
I'm
travel as
definitely
much.
going to do that.
Yeah, I would keep an eye on it because they'll probably bring it up again in December. I'm guessing.
I want to do it. I want to test it too. I want to test I think that'll be a good YouTube video. Like, how many times can I fly on this thing this month before someone
That's-
from AirAsia calls me and says, "Hey,
they
dude,
don't-
you can't fly every other day."
They don't care. The only thing that you have to do is you have to book it. I think it's 30 days in advance. So
Okay.
you have to know where you're going to go, but you could book one for 30 days and then another one for 35 days and another one for 40. You could book multiple ones.
Oh,
And
that's
like I
awesome.
said, it's only the tax. If you want to upgrade your seat, it costs a little more.
Yeah.
If you want to do this or that, but I think it's the greatest thing in the world. In fact, I told people that were planning on coming here even during the the time now where they're not going to fly, I would buy it anyway. I'd take the chance on 3,500 baht just for the fact that I might be able to get to fly in October, November, and December because this was a little while back.
Yeah.
But now they extended it to March. Hell, that makes it worthwhile. But I would check, just kind of keep your eye out right around December when it would run out, November, December, and see if because they go real quick. They go like
Yeah,
that.
that sounds amazing, actually.
Yeah, they only give out so many. So if you see it, and I'll make sure since now that we've met that if it doesn't, because my wife's Thai, obviously, and she gets all the notifications. When I do, I'll send you something saying, "Hey, go to AirAsia, check out their site and get it because it's well worth the money."
No,
Well
that's a
worth the
great
money.
deal. That's
Yeah.
I mean, it's already cheap to fly around here, and to make it even cheaper.
Yeah, exactly. It is challenging, and it's more fun to me, like you said, for me to try to get 7 kilos into my one little backpack and clothes and camera and everything, and go.
I mean, I've been
somewhere.
traveling 3 years mine is actually a little bit under 10 kilo, so I'd have to shrink it down a little bit because I have a lot of YouTube stuff in there.
Right.
But yeah, I'd have to shrink it down. Although
What I did-
I've come up with a couple of different strategies. Like I have all my electronics in this little bag,
right.
and if I can stuff it into the back of my underwear and walk up and check in. And so that takes out like 7 pounds right there.
I had my wife, because my wife works for the government for TOT, and so I don't get to travel like some of the YouTubers like Chuck and Paige, No Time to Be Sad, or Joe and Gift, and I don't get to do that. But so I had her follow me. She would take me to Buriram, which is about an hour from where I live in Surin, to get on the plane. I'd have her come in with me, and I'd have like 12 kilo 14 kilo in the bag, and I said, just stay here, and I put what I could do without on top, and then if they did weigh it or whatever they wanted on my carry-on, I would take it out and hand it to her. But they never said anything, and I was always over, always
Yeah.
over. But that's only during these times. I think
Yeah.
soon when everything gets back to normal, they're probably gonna start weighing your carry-on again. But
Mine looks pretty small though. A lot of times, like I don't know, like Viet Air is really is kind of notorious for like making sure that every carry-on weighs exactly. And even my bag is such a low profile that they usually are just like you're good because
right.
it's so
That's what
like,
they
you know
do
what I
with
mean.
me.
Like, it's not going to have any
Yeah,
issue fitting anymore.
I just got
So,
one small backpack. I take that, and I'll take
yeah.
maybe take my laptop or something. It all depends where I'm going, because I'm gonna
Yeah, that's
start
always
doing
the heavy thing for me is the laptop and some of the camera equipment.
right. Yeah, I want to do more content videos, but my wife is she doesn't want me to die. I said, I'm gonna die sooner or later here. But I just bought a brand new Forza 350, and in fact I just ordered the side bags for it. Put the back box, GPS, front and rear cameras. I did all sorts of shit. I did a video on it. I'm hoping
That's
to
cool.
do 2 and 3 day little trips with people, and I know that Joe wants to go, and Chocolate Man, and a bunch of people, about 5 or 6, are going to go on a 10-day deal. But that's where my content's going to come from eventually, is just out around there once she lets me out of the house. She doesn't even want me to go into Surin, because Surin went dark red, and we've had over 100 cases a day. So, and
Yeah.
we had nothing before, but they all came from Bangkok.
Yeah.
I
I don't know if you guys know this, but I was traveling in the U.S. for a year during COVID. I was very careful. I was in an RV. I was out in the middle of nowhere most of the time. I didn't get I got COVID, but I got it coming back to take care of my mother who had knee surgery, and she got it, and hers was really bad. But she was hospitalized, put on oxygen and a ventilator, and then recovered.
Wow.
And then I had it, and I had like flu symptoms. And then my aunt had it, who's the same age as my mother, because she was helping me take care of her, and she had zero symptoms. So it's kind of funny the way it hit. It just hits
Way it
people in a
does.
different way,
Yeah.
you know.
Crazy.
It's everyone in a
Question,
different
hey,
way. So
question from the commenter. Someone's asking if you will miss your van and the van life.
yeah, who asked that? I
Your
posted that I was
Mojo
going
asked
on. Okay, I posted that I was going on this last minute. So hopefully some of my subscribers will come over here and subscribe to you. Hope you get to 500. So so for those that don't know, I traveled a year internationally. I quit my job in 2019, January. Started traveling. I traveled for a year internationally, living in a different country every 30 days. And then I came back to visit my mother in March of 2020 for a month, and that's when COVID blew up. And here I was, like a new travel vlogger, just starting to get some traction, and I couldn't travel. And I always loved traveling in an RV when I was a kid. And so I bought one, I bought a van, and started traveling in the US. I did that for a year up until recently when I jumped on a plane and headed to Thailand. And I sold my van. So yeah, I'm going to miss it. But I tell people all the time, like I was a van life channel. My channel blew up because of van life. But I kept telling people, look, this is not a van life channel. This is a travel channel. The RV is just a way for me to travel right now. But you're going to see me travel on planes, trains, motorcycle, a million different ways. I do miss my van for sure. But when I was in my van, I missed being in Thailand, So
Now, have you thought about traveling, doing van life in Thailand?
yeah,
Getting
I
it up?
have. I've done some research.
Mike.
It's tough though. I mean, as
Is
you
it?
know, this is one of the most humid places on the planet, and
Richard.
van life in a humid place like Florida or Thailand is very challenging. You've got to have you got to have a state of the art rig with really good climate control, or you're going to be miserable at night.
Yeah, I know. And I can't sleep in the heat. That's the only reason I did motorcycle camping a few times before my wife passed away, and I ended up coming to Thailand. But it was I really enjoyed it. I was getting a little old for it, but I was having fun. But that was in up in the high Sierras and shit. It was nice and cool because I can
Yeah.
take the cold, but the heat, no. The
Yeah.
air conditioner's running. I paid, let's see, I pay 8,000. I'm building a house also now, but I pay 8,000 a month in rent for my house, and my last electric bill was 7,200 baht. So I
Well,
got
that
two
sounds like me.
kids, you know. Yeah, I
Yeah, I
got
never
three.
turn off the AC. Like, I'll never
Yeah,
turn off the AC.
no, no, never gonna
Like,
happen. Never gonna
I know
happen.
people are like, "Hey, just turn it off at night." I'm like, "No, that's when I need it the most. Is at night."
Exactly.
Like,
And
I
it
don't
isn't
like.
when the kids are gone. I got an 18-year-old and a 16-year-old, and they go to boarding school in Bangkok, but we brought them back right before the lockdown because they closed the schools. They go to private school, and they're here. When they're here, it goes from about 4,500, 4,000 to 7,000. But the new
Yeah.
house, I'm putting all new inverters in, and going to get a bunch of state of the art. I've got ponds and koi, and so I got a lot of stuff running besides
Oh,
that.
that's
But
cool. Very
yeah,
cool.
yeah, I enjoy that. In fact, I'm probably going to do some videos on that. Probably not
No,
get
you
a bunch of
definitely
people
should.
interested. Yeah, not,
Yeah, you
Okay.
I
definitely.
got some people that like it, but I'm going to do it anyway. Go
Okay.
ahead, Mitch. Is somebody asking
Would you
questions?
please post the link again? Because
Yeah.
Mike from Live My Ass Off and Richard's in and Robert Mack's in
Okay.
there and
Yeah,
anyone
yeah,
else who
yeah.
wants to come on and say hi.
Sure, sure.
That way I can hide in the background.
But it sounds like you're definitely here to probably stay then on a 20-year visa, more than likely anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna. I mean, I'm sure there'll be. I'm sure there'll be years when I'm in Thailand for most of the year, but it's really my Asia home base. So when I'm here, you know how it is though. Sometimes when you come to Thailand, sometimes you never leave. So it could be one of those things where like I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna travel back to Europe a lot, but it could be one of those things where you just, I mean, I
I'm in
love
love
Thailand
with
so much. So
I'm in love with Thailand. I'm going to
yeah,
die here, that's for sure. And this is I want to help the people here. They've done me right, with
yeah,
being in the hospital and taking care of me and my wife and my family that I have, my
yeah,
Thai family I have here. I owe them everything.
yeah,
So then it helps my wife. Now she's getting a house, and so they're all giddy. I mean, these Thai people are so easy to get a smile on them. You give them 10 baht, a lady on the corner. You give them, because the one lady I buy sweets for her dad. They're little, I don't even know what's in them. They're almost alcohol though, but they're wrapped in like a bamboo leaf. They're a pyramid type
yeah,
deal. And when I buy them, I only buy 40 baht worth, but I give her 20 baht, the old lady that sits on the corner. And my wife just looks at me, like I'm crazy, and that lady smiles. I said, "Look at that smile. I'd pay 100 baht for that
yeah,
smile on her face." She's a good,
yeah.
good person.
Well, I try to
But
explain it to people. I mean, people who have been here understand. So it's not, when you meet someone that's been here, but when I try to explain it to people that haven't been here, they don't really understand it.
understand. Yeah.
Especially now. I mean, you have, like I mentioned, I've been coming to Thailand since 1998, and I've seen it change a lot. Um, and now you can have all the conveniences of Western life, but all the uniqueness of Thai culture as well. So you can have like both, and you can do it for a fourth of the price you can anywhere else.
Sure. That's why I
So
tell people all the time, if you're gonna not retire in your home country, come to Thailand. At least give it 6 months. Get a place. You can get a long stay for 6 months and come and check it out. Because the only place that I know that's more reasonable is Vietnam, and I don't think Vietnam's as good. I wouldn't want to live in Vietnam. I shouldn't say that. I haven't been to Vietnam today in today's times, but just with the government and shit, I wouldn't want. I got a bad taste in my mouth. So Thailand I love, and for the amount of money difference, unless you're on a strict budget where, hey, I've only got $1,200 and that's it. You know, if you can live better someplace else, that's fine. But at least come and check out Thailand, man. It's
yeah,
you won't it won't be for the not. Worst thing that happened to you in 6 months, you go someplace else.
yeah.
That
And you
doesn't
can.
matter.
I lived in Vietnam for a month in Hanoi, and you can find comparable. You can find comparable cost of living in Thailand too. I mean, you know that. Like, it just
Yes,
depends on
definitely.
where it depends on what you're into. Like, I always tell people, if you're into metropolitan living, like you want to live in New York, like you can't beat Bangkok. I mean, you can't beat Bangkok with anything in Asia. Maybe Kuala Lumpur if you're not into partying at all. Maybe Kuala Lumpur. But other than that, like Hanoi is not going to beat it. Da Nang's not like you're not going to beat like having a New York style kind of life on like under $2,000 a month.
Right.
You're not going to find that anywhere else in the world.
And
Like
right now, if you wanted to come to Isan or if you wanted to come to Surin, you could find a nice little 1-bedroom apartment with an air conditioner, hot water shower, everything. Not luxury by any for under $200 a month, for $175 or something.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. So even people that because everybody says, well, how much can I live on Thailand on? And it's such a wide thing. I like $3,000 a month. But if I was single and came here, could I live on $1,500 or $1,800? Sure. It all depends. If you're not a drinker, not a partier, don't want to run around with the women, and buy alcohol, sure, you could live no problem. Go out to eat 2, 3, 4, 5 times a week and get yourself a scooter and no problem. Now, where else in the world are you going to say that?
Yeah.
If you could live on $1,500, $1,800.
So I got an Airbnb on Newt. In a state-of-the-art building, like 1 minute from the BTS. Will take me 60 seconds to walk to it. And it was on Airbnb, which is inflated prices. It was $320 for the month, a little bit over a month actually. And that includes electricity, Wi-Fi, that includes everything. My apartment walks out into a pool, and nobody uses the pool apparently, so I pretty much have the pool to myself, and I can just walk out into it every morning. And so even in Bangkok, in a what's considered a desirable neighborhood close to the BTS and on Newt, it's my lodging is under $400 for the month. So even if I live La Vida Loca and I just start throwing money everywhere, it'll be easy for me to stay under $1,500.
When I first got here, I was taking 30,000 baht a month for my everyday money, and I was anal about it. I went to Kamala, I went to Phuket, stayed 8.5 months there, and I would break it down. I'd go to the bank and get so many hundreds, so many 500, so many 50s, so many 20s, and I'd break it down into days, And I think I ended up with I don't know what that breaks down to, 1,500, 1,800 baht a day, whatever, 2,000. And at the end of every day, I'd do everything I want, ate out, never, cooked nothing, did everything. And I still had half of it. And I'd shove it in a little savings, So then that's when I realized that. And I wasn't here for women. I was depressed and my wife had just passed, like I said. So I wasn't here to run around. So it not a problem, But if you're a drinker and you're going to go out partying and you're 35 years old, if I was 35 years old and knew about Bangkok and Thailand and Pattaya or anything like that, I'd have been dead already because I'd have killed myself, right? Not a doubt in my mind. Not a doubt in my mind. I'd be dead. But, but somebody that wants to do that, I mean, there's no other place to go if that's the way what you want either is Thailand.
Yeah.
If you want to be with 3 different women every week and you've got 3,000-4,000 baht a month income and you want to just, 1-bedroom, air conditioned, nothing, not paying, 100,000 baht a month for a condo, you can do that. And I don't know any place out. Well, I was lucky. I grew up in the San Fernando Valley, right outside of LA, and we had a hell of a 70s. It was the time to, we had plenty of women. We didn't have to go anywhere. But where are you from in the U.S.?
I'm originally from St. Louis, in Missouri. So, but I joined the military at 19, so I haven't really lived there since then.
Okay. And then were you all over in the military?
Yeah, every 2 or 3 years I moved. My first 13 years I was out of the continental United States. I lived in Hawaii and Italy mostly for those first 13 years. So even though Hawaii is part of the United States, culturally it's as different as the U.S. as you can possibly be, to be honest with you. It kind of reminds me of Thailand now, which is you got all the conveniences of the United States, but a different culture.
Right, right. Well, that's cool. I wonder if anybody is, Mike's, are you still here? No one came
Few
on. I was
questions
kind of hoping
for-
that Mike's would come on so you could meet him real quick.
A few questions for your special guest. Have you ever been on an Osprey or a C-130?
I've been on many C-130s. I have not been on,
Never-
have I been on an Osprey? I haven't been on an Osprey. I've been on the Marine Corps has a helicopter called the Sea Stallion, which is the precursor to the Osprey, the big giant thing. I've been on
That
that,
is, yeah.
many times, but never on an Osprey. I've been on aircraft carriers where Ospreys have landed before, but I've never personally been on an Osprey. But I have been on many C-130s.
There was another question, but it's been so long ago I forgot, so I apologize for that.
If somebody's got some questions, go ahead and post them, and I'll say
Yeah,
hi
throw
to
'em
people.
up.
Hi, Richie. Hey, Gator Jake, how are you? Hey, Bob. I don't know who else.
I've been
is
on
in
a
here.
lot of slicks, UH-1, Hueys, Iroquois, and Chinooks.
It looks like you have one eye. You just look like one giant eye, Mitch. What
That's
happened?
Hal.
That's
Hal's
Hal.
watching. Because when I'm
Hey,
reading
shoot.
comments and doing posts and links and stuff, I have a frown on my face. So I'm not really frowning, but it looks that way. So I'm like, you know what?
You got now? Did you put Mitch up as a moderator? I know you were talking about that when I was
Yeah,
watching
yeah,
your
for
live
sure.
stream. Good for
Yeah,
you.
I mean,
Good.
you
good
know how it
idea.
is. Start doing Thailand. Start doing anything in Thailand. You know,
Well, you know what it is? What's thoroughly amazing with him is because I've been moderators on other people's channels, and when Mitch is on there, before I even think about trying to do something, he's already got it done. Whether it's posting a link or timing somebody out or deleting a comment or whatever it may be, he's the best. That's
it
no
may have
doubt.
seemed that way. There's a lot of support. I mean, you got
Yeah.
Stuck in Florida. You got Robert Mack.
A lot of good ones, but you got.
I don't wanna
but
work-
you know what
Just a
else?
whole bunch of
Being here in
mods.
Thailand, you're smart because, especially with Mitch and Robert and the ones he just mentioned, Stuck, too, they know the names of the trolls. And
Yeah,
they're-
yeah,
you know what they use and stuff. Yeah, so it
I don't
makes
mind
it a lot
troll-
easier.
I don't mind
Yeah.
trolls on me. I actually it's kind of amusing to me, but I don't like it I don't like it for the people that are in the chat, having to deal with them.
Right.
So and you know how it is in the Thai. Every genre is actually the same because I was really niche in the van life genre, and it's the same thing. There's trolls that come out and call you homeless and call you all different kinds of things, and it's the same thing when you go into the Thailand genre. There's this whole group of trolls that just if
There you go, Richard.
yeah.
I posted. Richard, I think, wants to come on.
Thanks,
Richard
Gator.
traveled. Have you watched him?
I took
Richard
notes
traveled.
from,
Oh yeah. I've watched a
from
lot of his
Richard
interviews.
on Richard Travel on
I
Prep.
worked on my Thailand visa with Haley, who he interviewed.
Oh, that's right. I remember you saying
Yeah.
that. Okay.
Yeah, Haley's actually amazing. Haley's great. If
Yeah.
anybody ever does
Put
Thai
her-
Elite, she's great because it's
Yeah.
free, and she did everything for me. Like I didn't have to do anything. I don't even know if it's hard to do because I didn't have to do anything.
That makes it a lot nicer.
Yeah, and it was free because she gets a commission
Oh.
from Thai Elite.
He wanted me to post his comment to you. Okay, let me see where.
Yeah. Oh,
Here we go. Can you
Kevin,
see that?
Richard's going to email you.
I'll
thanks.
send you an email. Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Sorry,
actually.
Richard. I misunderstood.
What Icy was a guest on his show,
Uh-huh.
and somehow she found out I was coming to Thailand. So she's actually in Bangkok. So I'm going to do some videos with her, which I think will be awesome because she knows like the places you can go during this lockdown, where you can get food and stuff. So I think that's going to be some cool videos too with her. Like I like the idea of doing videos with people who know the ropes.
This is Bob. Bob, say hello to everybody.
Hey Bob, how you doing?
Everybody, hey, how you doing?
Hey, Bob.
So yeah, that sounds like it'd be pretty good. I would think that would make good content. Meeting up with her, with Icy, sounds good to me. When are you supposed to
Yeah,
do
I
that?
mean,
Obviously,
it'll
once you get-
draw. I mean, it'll draw in a bunch of people too. I'm sure.
yeah, I'm sure it will.
Even my van life audience, who's not really interested. My goal is so my van life audience is 70% male, and they're between the ages of 40 and 70 that are into like RVing. But I kind of want to show them like, hey, you guys are spending $2,500 to $3,000 a month living in your RV, like you can come to Thailand too, or you can come to Malaysia, or you can come to Vietnam, and have live on your retirement and Social Security pretty well as well. As well, you can do the RV thing, but you can also do this too. And of course, since they're a bunch of middle-aged guys, I'm sure they're going to love Icy.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure they will.
Yeah.
But I would think that you got to be carrying. Some of the people are going to stick with you because you're you, regardless of whether it's Van or
Yeah,
I think
Thailand
so.
or whatever.
I think so.
It's a small group though, and I get that. I mean, I say it all the time. If I was in the sewing and I was watching a sewing channel, and all of a sudden they switched to cooking, which I am not interested in. I'm like you. I eat out every meal. I would not watch the videos. So I get it. So when I first started travel vlogging, I was an international traveler. So I built up 12,000 subscribers, but they were mostly Malaysians because I had a couple of videos do really well in Malaysia. And if anybody knows the Malaysian audience, they only watch videos about Malaysia. Like they don't care about videos outside of the country of Malaysia for whatever reason. They're like interested in hearing how great Malaysia is. And so they don't want to, they don't watch anything besides that. So when I first switched to van life, none of them watched van life, maybe 3 of them.
Really?
And then when I switched to van life, I knew at some point that would probably happen. So I built a pretty good core audience. So about 3,000 or 4,000 of them will watch of the 50 or 60,000 subscribers that are van life. So I got to build a new audience, and I know I've done it twice already, so I kind of know what to expect. So it's not that big of a deal.
Right. Now, what about what do you think the percentage is going to follow you from van life to Thailand, or can you tell already?
So I haven't done. So I went to Hawaii first for 2 months, and nobody really watched those videos unless it was a video like I did a video, a packing video, and to show my that I only travel with one bag, for the last 3 years. Right. And that got like 30, 40,000 views. For some context, my van life videos would get 100, 200, sometimes 1 million. I got one video with 1.7 million, 1.7 views. So my van life videos would get hundreds of thousands of views. So that was the only video in Hawaii that was successful. The rest of them were 2,000 or 3,000 views. I did one about how I afford to travel full time, and that got 10,000 views. So my audience already tapered off because I wasn't doing van life stuff. And for those that know the YouTube algorithm, the way YouTube works is they share your video with a percentage of your audience to see how many of them click through. And then after they figure out that number, then they decide whether to share it with more of your subscribers. And then 2 days after you release a video, they look at that data and go, okay, his subscribers didn't really watch this, so we're not going to push this out to other van life people. And so you have to build it when you're switching genres. You have to build a new audience in order to get that initial view, the initial view that you need to get pushed into an algorithm. At some point, if your channel gets big enough, you don't really have to worry about that. If you have 1 million subscribers, you're automatically going to get 100,000 views anyway, and you're going to be pushed into the algorithm. But yeah, so I would say percentage-wise, probably I'd say 5 to 10%. But I'm hoping once I start showing Thailand and these guys that are living in their van full time that are looking for other options, maybe they're tired of it, and they have their pension, they have their Social Security or whatever, and they go, you know what, I want to try something different. Oh yeah, Kevin's over there in Thailand. Let me watch a couple. Oh, here's a video on his $300 apartment in Bangkok. Let me see if it's something I'd be willing to live in. And then they see it. It's state-of-the-art apartment with a swimming pool.
I would think if I was, I'm going to check out your other videos because I've always been interested in that van life anyway. I've just never watched too many of them, so I'll check out yours. But I would think that if I was into that, because I've always been into RVing and camping and that type of stuff, that if I was following you for quite a while, I would definitely at least check, like you said, check it out. Well, what can I get for that? Can I park my van for 6 months or 8 months or whatever and go on an 8-month vacation? Is there enough to see in Thailand for me to go there for 8 months? You know,
Yeah.
I would think some of them would come.
Yeah.
Or so
Yeah.
that would be
Yeah.
nice.
That's the hope. You never know, but I mean, at the same time, you just build another audience.
Build an audience. Yeah, there's enough
Yeah.
here. Obviously, I mean, there's people that
Yeah.
watch. Watch that aren't millions of views, but upwards up close to 100,000
Yeah, the Thai
subscribers.
genre the Thailand travel genre has always been a big genre. And
Yeah.
I mean, you've been doing this for a while and watching videos. It's actually right now it's kind of saturated because a lot of people came here because Thailand did so well at the beginning of the pandemic. So a lot of travel bloggers came here because it was a place they could travel. But as you know, you've probably seen the cycle. Like a lot of times vloggers don't last here. Even the ones that get really, really successful end up not making videos anymore.
Right, they burn out.
Yeah, and so there's always an opening to make videos in Thailand and get views. There's always an opening. It's never. I hear a lot of people talk about it's too saturated here in Thailand. It's not,
I
because
don't think so.
there's always an opening for it.
It helps when you like. I'd like to get to 1,000. That's all I'm trying to get to. And if I get to 1,000, I'm fine, because I want to use YouTube to do live streaming from wherever I go. But I can use StreamYard, so it's not that big of a deal. I'm not using it just to, I don't need any money. Anything that I ever make on this channel will always go back to the Thai people, no matter what.
Yeah.
If it's
That's
a
awesome.
penny, if it's $1, whatever it is, which I don't even know if the channel will ever make anything. But I'm having fun, because I never would talk like this. I don't know if, like I said, you don't know me too well, but I was totally a bad person up until about 10 years ago. The first part of my life was motorcycles, sex, drugs, rock and roll. Didn't care about anybody. I just was not a good person. And the last 15 years or so, I consider myself a good person. And the best thing I did was come here to Thailand. But I never talked like this. I never rambled. I never thought I could even look at myself on the camera. I'm just thought that was never that type of person. But I enjoy the crap out of it now. I'm having a good time. I don't care if I've got 10 people watching, or 2 people, or 100, or whatever it is. I can't follow the damn thing now when I get 20 people in. I can't. It goes too freaking fast, So, but I like doing the content and stuff too. But like I said, my wife's she watches me all the time. I don't want you to die. I don't want you to get sick. I don't, because I had a tube at the beginning of 2020, on New Year's Eve 2019. I got pneumonia, couldn't breathe, and I had a tube shoved down my throat for 2 months in ICU. I was in the hospital for 3 months, and I thought it was COVID. My doctor said it wasn't COVID. He said you would have infected everybody, because I would have been the first case. It was that January, so it was a nightmare. So she's always been, and they took care of me, and I'd only been with her for eight months. And her family took care of me. She didn't leave me.
How did you like the healthcare system? I'm always curious about. I hope you don't mind me asking you questions.
No, ask me anything you want. That's one thing you'll learn real quick. You can ask me anything you want, and I'll answer as truthful as I can. But I would put it up against any place in the United States. And I spent a whole crap load of time when my wife died of leukemia at Stanford. It was probably one of the best hospitals around. And I put up the care that I got in Surin, in a private hospital. That doctor saved my life 10 times while I was in there. I wouldn't, if I was in another country, I would rather come back to Thailand to get medical help if I could, instead of any place I'd be. So yeah, it's great. The only thing was, and I tell everybody, make sure you have insurance. Cost me 1 million baht. I didn't have insurance. Cost me 1 million baht to stay in there, which is nothing. $30,000.
In the U.S., you said 3 months. It would have been $1 million.
Yeah, I was 2 months alone just in ICU. What is ICU? 10,000 a day, or 8,000 a day? Yeah, easily. But the care that you'll get, especially if you're in Bangkok, all the hospitals here, top notch. Got nothing but good things to say. And I was in there a long time, so I could tell you about the treatment that I got.
So what do you recommend any kind of insurance Is there any kind of insurance that you recommend for like an expat in Thailand to get?
Yeah, there's one called, I think it's called, Mitch might know. Is it Pacific Care? Pacific something that, God, what was the name of it? Is Mitch gone?
Let me check my email because I have an email I need to
Yeah,
answer.
there's one in particular that's good, and it's cheap for a decent coverage. I want to
Pacific
say
Cross,
it's
I think.
I want to say it's around $1,000 a year for something that's fairly decent. You know, I got lucky
Pacific
because
Cross Health, yeah.
Pacific Cross. But
Yeah,
I
I'll put
got,
the link.
in fact, Mitch can put a link up if he's got it. But my wife works for the government, so when we got married, I got that insurance. So they pay like 80 to 90% when I go in, but it's cheap, and I got all my medications. A lot of people ask me, well, can I get this medication? Do they have this? They have pretty much everything. And I paid half when I first got here. Then I paid for my medication, and I was on a lot of medication. I paid half here in Thailand, cost-wise, than I paid in the United States with my insurance. So I paid $250 a month with my insurance for my medication. I paid like $100 here to buy it in Thailand. And then, of course, now I get reimbursed for it also. It costs me like nothing. I'm going in every 3 months. It gives me 3 months worth of medication. Whole thing comes in at like 11,000 baht for her, me, blood tests, everything.
Oop, I lost your audio for some reason.
Yeah,
It might be on my
Dave,
end.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Mitch. It might be Dave.
Yeah, it's Dave. He wore out the microphone.
How
It's
about that?
overheating. I can see a little bit of smoke
better?
there.
Let me see.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
'cause
you're
I
good.
lost your
Kinda
name
hear
at
ya.
the- Go
Stuck
to
in
here,
Florida's in the
and
house.
it's
We got
because
the
I
three
touched
Musketeers
something.
in here.
Yes,
Robert Mack, Stuck in
hold on.
Florida, and myself.
I should
I'm the
be
ugly one.
back. I'm back
You're
now,
back.
right?
I can hear you now.
Yeah,
Everybody hear me? I'm
yeah,
still
we
not
can hear.
hearing you. Huh? Can you hear me, Mitch?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
we
can hear you, Dave. Can you hear me?
You can hear me? I can't hear
Yes.
you. You
Really?
You
Check your buttons. I don't know.
you can't. Let me tell. Mitch, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
Mitch,
Yes.
can anybody hear me? Volume is down a bit.
Yes.
Can you hear me,
I can
Brock?
hear you.
Can you hear me, Mitch? I can't hear you guys. Huh? I
Yeah,
don't hear
we
you.
can hear you. We can hear you. Is there any way you can change that? No,
yeah,
just
it's definitely something on your end. Well, he can't hear us say
Yeah.
that.
kidding.
There
Yes.
it goes. Can you see them? Now you guys can hear each other. What's going on? Let me
Oh,
check.
he's sorting that out. Any other questions?
Yes, I saw someone asked about TRICARE because I'm retired military. I do have TRICARE, so I can.
There we go.
Yeah,
Now I can hear you.
Okay.
I
Do
can
you have
hear you now.
TRICARE?
Okay. Go ahead.
yeah. Someone asked about why do you need insurance? You have TRICARE. I do have TRICARE. I haven't researched TRICARE overseas, which they do have that. But I have TRICARE through Humana in the United States, so I'd have to fly back to the United States, which actually would be fine for me. But I also like the idea of if I can find, I'm 45 years old, if I can find low cost insurance in Thailand that'll cover most things, for $40, $50 a month. To me, that's like a no brainer. Like,
What I understand depends
Yeah,
on your
I hear ya.
age, but it's between 800 and 1,000, I think, or 800 to 1,200 for the year. So
Yeah,
somewhere
which
between.
is the best.
No, I
Yeah.
don't think so. Like I tell
Yeah,
you,
and
Excuse me. Sorry.
go ahead.
Yeah, I've had a bunch of illnesses while traveling overseas too. Not like anything major, but like had a real bad earache in Mexico. Had like some sort of stomach virus in Vietnam, and I've went to the hospital in those places. And most things, unless it's something major like you had, most things are cheap anyway. You can just pay out of your pocket. I think in Mexico, to see the doctor, have him flush out my ear and my prescription all together was like $40. And in Vietnam, same thing. It was, I don't even think it was $40.
It's the
And
same.
so-
It's the same thing in Thailand too, because when I went the last time, I went and got a blood test, saw the doctor for a doctor's visit, and he gave me a couple of medications that that I was going to run out of before the 3 months were up, and he just wanted a blood test. So I got a blood test, an office visit with the doctor. That's usually 10 to 15 minutes, and a little bit of prescription was 1,500 baht. So what is that? $45. So yeah.
So,
As long as it's not something big.
Yeah, and I tell people, as long, get some kind of catastrophic insurance or something, and something that'll get you home if that's what you want to do, or if you want to stay local, then get catastrophic insurance, which a lot of times is cheaper if you're younger and healthy, and then you can just pay for whatever it is you get, like little small things. You can just pay for it.
Yeah, that's good advice. They like I said, I got lucky because when I did get married, I got her insurance, which is cool, and she's not planning. She could quit her job anytime she wants because I have enough to support us no matter what, right? So, but there's no way. She's been there almost 20 years. She's 41 years old. She was 38 when I met her, and I'm 64. But anyway, she just has too many friends there. That's pretty much most of her life is going to work. So I wouldn't want to take that from her either. But we could do a lot of traveling. She gets, I think, 3 or 4 weeks off a year. So we break it up into like 20, 4-day weekend vacations or something, and one week one or something. But so we make it work. And then I get to go out by myself. But she's a little leery now, me taking off on the bike, and I told her I'll end up hooking up with somebody so that I got somebody with me in case something happens. But I don't think anything would happen. But I don't know if you like motorcycles or scooters or traveling.
Oh yeah,
I'm a
huge. I don't know if you know this, but that's going to be after Patty. I'm getting a bike and riding around Thailand. If things are open, like that's my plan, is just to travel that way, city to city, town to town.
What are you looking to get, or have you thought about it?
I'm not 100% sure. I mean, I'm more of a motorcycle guy than a scooter. I don't mind having a scooter, but I've been looking around at like little cheap like Legends here, like 200 Legends. Something that I can at least get up to 140 kilometers with. I don't want to be on these highways with a freaking scooter that only goes 100 clicks.
Yeah, I got the 350 Forza. And because of Twist and Go, I've been riding around with clubs and stuff since I was a kid in the valley, and always had Harleys. I drove my Panhead to high school for my 11th and 12th grade, so that's all I've had. But now I'm just old, fat, and I just want to twist it and don't want to shift. I don't want to think about nothing. So I bought it. It's brand new.
It's fun. Twist and Goes are great. Like I spent my time in Hawaii with a twist. I mean, they're awesome. Like.
Yeah,
they're awesome.
And this one, that 350 will do above 140.
Okay.
So yeah, and I usually cruise right around 100. That's a good speed for me because people, well, you might want. All I want is I want to know that I have enough throttle to get myself out of a situation when I'm doing 100. I don't want 100's it, and I can't maneuver myself to get around something. So
I just want to get past those big trucks.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want those trucks passing me. I want to be passing them.
Yeah, like I said earlier, I just ordered. I should get today or tomorrow the side boxes. I put the top box on, and like I said, I got front and rear camera, GPS, cup holders. I mean, I'm ready to go. Now all I got to do is get rid of all this shit and head out. And that's what I'm going to do. I'll do 2 and 3 day trips, and I'll do videos about that, where I go, the accommodations, just bullshit stuff. But people like to see that.
People love. Yeah,
they do. They want to see it.
Yeah.
I went to Costa Rica in Playa del Coco in 2015, and before I went there, I watched everybody's videos on driving around. When I got there, I knew the town like the back of my hand. I knew where to go, where everything was. So it helps. A lot of people like to watch it. Plus, they like to daydream. No, I'm not sitting in my house in downtown LA. I'm on a beach in fucking, in Thailand. I need a cuss jar. Damn it. Oh well.
Yeah, I mean that's why I decided to do this. Was I was coming home every night after work and watching YouTube travel videos, and I mean, that's what you do. Like that's what I always tell people. There are two types of people that watch the videos. Those are that are kind of living vicariously through you, and then those that are going to do it and they just want to see.
Exactly.
They want to see it. They want to see what your hotel costs, what your,
Yeah.
what's a liter of gas costs, what's, all that stuff.
People get excited when you walk through grocery stores and show prices of bread and eggs.
Yeah.
Because they want to know that. And that's what I wanted to know too.
Yeah.
The one I watched was mainly Thailand Rob. That's why I went to Kamala, because I wanted the low key. I wasn't into partying scene. I go to bed at 8, 9 o'clock at night. I'm just not, I don't mind going out with friends and, having a beer or two and having dinner. I like that. But partying, that's why my wife's perfect. She's the perfect age for me was 38, between 38 and 40. She had done all her stuff. She had 2 kids. They're pretty much grown. I just got luckier than crap. I mean, like I said, I'm the luckiest man in the world, not just Thailand.
No, that's awesome. That's
yeah,
really cool.
Yeah, it is. It's great. I thought, because like I said, if you watch my stuff, was I coming here to die? Well, yeah, pretty much. But, I didn't want to be alone. I've been with the woman for 30 years,
Yeah.
and, but didn't matter to me at that time, whether I lived, died, didn't make a difference. And then after meeting her, it's like, hey man, I want to live. I want to, I want to pay her back, give her a good life, let her, she likes me for some reason. No one knows. She's beautiful. No one knows why, but I know I don't. But I want to enjoy it. I want to enjoy it, and I'm having fun. And all the people that are on this channel are just top notch. I mean, we have a ball every other day.
Cool.
I do these. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah.
Anybody
That's
asking
cool.
questions? Anybody want any questions? Oh, is Tom here, Digital Nomad, or did you just put up his link? Mitch, can you hear me? He's typing. He's
Yeah,
moderating.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me? Okay, good.
Hey, Tommy J. Anybody got any questions? Go ahead.
I've actually been trying to prepare the audience that's coming over for the Thailand stuff. I'm like, hey, look, like I get up at 5 a.m. and I go to bed at 8 or 9 at night. So if you're coming to my channel to see like me partying in Pattaya, you're not going to see that. Like you may see me sitting in an open air bar, people watching, but it's probably going to be in the daytime, or it's going to be like right up to 8. I was in the military 20 years, in the Navy. I've done all that partying, and I don't like what it does to my body or my psyche, so I'm kind of over that. So my goal is to just show people like how great Thailand is beyond that. Like if you want that, like Thailand has it. Yeah. Thailand's like Vegas. Thailand's like Vegas. If you want to party 24/7, you can party 24/7, but you can also, enjoy good food and a good quality of life too.
What are your plans on? You looking for someone to spend time with, or meeting up eventually with somebody, or what are your plans, or you don't have any plans?
I mean, I've been nomadic for a while now, and I just enjoy dating, like meeting new people, hearing their story. A lot of times people, especially when I was traveling in the RV, I would get a lot of dates because people were curious about my life, because I just tell people in my dating profiles, like, hey, like I travel full time, like I'm constantly traveling. So understand that's, that's not going to change. Like, so I thought that was
good time, not a long time.
I thought it was going to be a hindrance, but it's actually helped me, because a lot of people just want to, like, they want to date somebody.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
So, yeah. So I'm excited.
I guess if you run across somebody, when you run across somebody, you'll know. You'll say, okay,
well,
I
tell people this about Thailand dating, because I've dated here before. Even if you're not in the Thai women, for a man, Thailand is still a good dating spot, because most Western men, and I don't want to sound like creepy or anything when I say this, but most Western men come here to date Thai women. But there are a lot of Western women here, a lot of Americans, Canadians, British, Australian, and then there's a lot of like Scandinavian and Russian, and so if you're a guy who doesn't is not into Thai women, but you come to Bangkok, you have an unlimited amount of Western women to date too, and there aren't that many Western men looking for Western women. So you actually are.
That's true.
It's actually really easy to date Western women in Thailand, as well as it is to date Thai women. It's actually, I think it's actually probably easier to date Western women.
Really, I didn't know that. I didn't.
Yeah,
know that. I knew there was a lot of like Russian and women and Canadians. I knew there were some, but I didn't realize there was an abundance of them. And like I say, most of the people that are here are here because they like Asian women. They like the way they look. They're here. So you're right. I mean, if there's men here that aren't really into that, and there are other women, then they're not going to have a very big audience to pick from. The women.
if they're not in the Thai pen, they're not going to like. They're like
right.
It's
exactly the same thing.
I've just noticed that. I don't want it to sound like this creepy thing, but I've noticed it on the dating apps. It especially applies in a place like Bangkok or Chiang Mai, where there are huge digital nomad, Thai or English teachers, things like that, where a lot of Western and Europeans come to teach English or to start their business or whatever. Or actually, a lot of what I've noticed is a lot of yoga instructors come from the West to teach yoga here. So there are these beautiful yoga instructor women from Eastern Europe or from the United States or from Australia, but no Western men want to date them because they're here to date Thai women. I've noticed that I'm matching with all kinds of those.
Yeah, well, my biggest problem is first off, I'm 64 years old. I've dated every Western woman in the world and can't stand them except for the one that I married for 30 years, including the two that I married first and divorced after 9 months. But the difference for me was I was always intrigued, and I dated maybe 8 or 10 Asian women in the United States growing up through my life, and I always thought they were very beautiful. I appreciated their looks. But after I've been with one here in I guess it's pretty much the same here in Southeast Asia, how could you find a better woman? This woman will do anything. I've been with her for almost 2 years. She's never said no. I've never heard N-O come out of her mouth for anything. And I just look at that going, God, if I was with a Western woman, even the one that's tattooed on my arm, she would have told me to go to hell 30 times on some of the shit that I did, And it's just like, what it makes me, it turns me into a better person because I want to do more for her because of what she does for me, So in my particular instance, you're a younger guy, I'm, like I said, I try not to have mirrors in my house because I don't want to see my old face and go, who that old bastard? I don't remember him. But, it's nice, and what's another thing that's weird, the only person that I didn't think was old was my wife that passed away. Everybody else that I looked at that was in their early 60s, I'm going, I don't want to be with that. That's like being with my grandma. That's like being with my grandma. That's like being with my grandma. And I in my mind, I was still 35 years old. I still wanted someone that looked 35 years old. I didn't want to sleep with my grandmother, And so I got lucky, and my wife and a lot of them here don't care. They want to be taken care of. If they fall in love with you, great, If you have an understanding that they're not going to fall in love with you, but you still have a good time and you spend money on them and you take them in, that's fine too. As long as everybody's on the up and up. It's the guys that go in and go, well, God, I didn't think that she was going to take my money. I gave her the $100,000 and I thought everything was going to be all right. Well, you're an idiot. I mean, it's not brain surgery. I mean, you can tell, or I can anyway, when someone's going to tell me. My wife, I went out with her I was with her for 8 months. She never once asked me for a dime. When I got married, her parents never asked me for any kind of, money. I give my mother-in-law money, but that's because I want to. And I did a whole video on that. When people come to Thailand, if you're going to take a woman away from, they take care of their parents, they take care of their elderly, they take care of their grandma. If she's making 20,000 or 15,000 or 10,000 baht a month, and you want her to come with you and travel, well, then you got to give her the 10,000 to take care of her family. And I got guys that say, "Oh, I ain't giving them shit." Well, then go someplace else. You don't need to
Yeah.
be in Thailand.
Well,
Go
that's the
somewhere.
whole. You mentioned the age dynamic. That's the whole. What you're talking about right there, where like in Thailand, the children take care of the parents and the grandparents,
Yes.
and there's a different level of respect for older people. You see it in every walk of the culture, whether it's like the respect
Right.
thing they give to elders, or whatever it is. But that also makes it easier if you want to date younger people. It's not viewed. It's just viewed
Right.
differently.
It's accepted.
For a
It's
younger
accepted.
woman,
Yeah.
even if a younger woman's not after your money, she
Yeah.
might date an older man because there's just a certain they hold older people in high esteem, and so
Yes.
if that because I don't want people to confuse. Like you said, your wife didn't want any money from you. So where does that come from that she, like is attracted to older men? I think it comes from that thing in Thai society where older people are respected and kind of put on a pedestal, where in Western culture, you kind of like push you push the older people to the side, whether it's your parents or
Right.
grandparents. You still love them,
Yes.
but I don't send my mother any
Right.
money or anything like that. And that would be like sacrilege in Thai culture.
And what's really weird too is that, and I've talked to my wife about this numerous times, and one day I'll get her to come on with me. She doesn't think her English is good enough, but the women are the ones that take care of everything. The men do not. They do what they want. You're right on everything there. Plus one thing is that they like 45, 50, 55-year-old men because they believe that, especially from America or UK or Australia, they're done fooling around. They don't have to deal with the Thai guys that they've been with that have cheated on them from day one, and they believe that they're better. My wife is still jealous of me. Oh, what are you going to go? You're going to go look for a girl? I said, please, look at me. Where am I going to go? It's like, come on. So it took me like a year just to calm her down, but they're very jealous people. But that's a big thing. I feel comfortable with you. I feel that this is my wife speaking. I feel like you've been through all the stuff you needed to do in your life. You don't need to run around. You don't need to go out and drink. You don't need to do this and that. And that's what they want. And they want that stability. And to know that, hey, I can go out and eat whatever I want. My husband will buy me papaya salad. I don't have to eat rice. My children can go here. They can buy this. They can do that. My mother and father can. Life's better for everybody. And that's why she says she thinks I'm the greatest thing in the world. But she doesn't understand that I have ulterior motives, because the smiles on all their faces just give me this unbelievable high, knowing that I'm elevating their life to something they thought they would never have. They never thought they would have a new house. They never thought that they would live the way that they're living now. So it makes me happy. So it works both ways. I get gratification out of just watching them, by giving them 1,000 baht. My father-in-law, here's 1,000 baht. Go, you think I gave him $1 million? I gave him 30 bucks, for the
Hey,
month.
Dave.
Yeah.
Dave.
Yeah.
Sharice trying to make comment and she can't. Can you check if she inadvertently got blocked?
How do I do that? Remember, I'm a moron here.
Ask Kevin.
Does Kevin know?
Yeah, you got to go to settings and see who you have on the block list.
Okay, settings in YouTube?
Yeah, if you look over, if you got your studio open and you look towards the bottom, you'll see a little gear, which is the settings. You click on that settings.
Let me get to my studio on my phone. Mitch is sending me all sorts of stuff here. Sherry, I'm getting all these messages now, Mitch. I didn't get them before. Okay, I want to go to YouTube Studio.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm at dashboard. And I'm on dashboard on my phone, but I don't see a little.
let me go grab my phone. I've never done it on my phone.
Okay.
I usually just use the computer, so.
Sherry, can you hear us? Mitch probably blocked you. He doesn't like you. He's told me many, many times.
No.
Just kidding.
Rock the Cosby.
Let's see.
I don't know if you
But,
can do it in there. I don't see. I don't know if you can do it on your phone. Let me.
well, I
Actually.
guess I could.
Oh yeah. Click
Let
on
me
your face. Click on your face.
uh,
Nope, you
on
can't
my
do it
what?
on there.
All right, let me go on my. I think I can still hear you. Let me switch over to my YouTube. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let me go. All right. I'm on studio. Well, I'm almost on studio. Now my computer's going to start lagging. Okay. I'm on studio. Now you're saying go down to where? I'm
If
on my
you
dashboard on studio.
Yeah, so on the lower left, if you scroll down to the bottom, you'll see send feedback, and right above that, you'll see settings.
Yeah, I see settings. Okay. Click on that.
Click on
Okay.
settings,
All right.
and then click on community.
Community. Okay. All
And then
right.
if you scroll down, you'll see something called hidden users, and those are the people that you've blocked.
Hidden users. Okay. I've got a few. Okay.
Just don't read them off.
No, she's not in there.
Yeah, so maybe it's a. Yeah, yeah, it has to be one of your moderators, one of your rogue mods. You know, I told you.
Maybe I did it. Did I do it? I might have done it by
No,
accident.
if she's
I've
not
done
on there, it's just a glitch. That's okay.
to
She's
try-
going swimming
Ah.
and having her coffee.
Hey Don, how you
and,
doing, man?
So we're yeah.
Yeah, I love.
for
I
checking
mean,
that, though,
obviously
Dave.
you love Thailand, or you wouldn't be here on a 20-year visa. So, that's. And I'm sure you're going to do well. Obviously, your persona, you're going to do well in Thailand with YouTube. I can see
appreciate
that.
that.
Yeah, me,
Yeah,
I'm
dude,
just
I just
abrasive.
love the place and want to share.
Yeah,
I mean, Thailand's not the only place I love, but it's to me for the like if you're nomadic, you want to be an expat. I can't think of anywhere better. You know, there are places that are close, but it just has a little bit of everything. And for the cost, I mean, it's went up over the years, but for the cost, you just can't beat it. I mean, there's nowhere in the
Yeah,
world
no.
you can live the way you live here if you just have Social Security, the way you can live in
Right.
Thailand.
yeah,
You know,
and people,
That's true.
like I said, they were asking me now if you got. I want to say the normal, and I don't know. I only know what I get, but the normal Social Security is somewhere around 1,500. Okay, 12 to 1,500 or something like that. Some are 18, some are 16. But if you've got a husband and a wife that want to retire to Thailand, and they're both getting 1,500, that's 3,000.
Yeah.
I mean, and the only way that you can really have a decent life that I can see, even if you're just a one person, with 1,500 in the U.S. is have paid off your home, and you're living for free.
Yeah.
Then maybe you can live on that. You're not going to live extravagantly, especially with the way inflation and everything's going crazy there. Thailand, like I said, if you're not going to retire in your home country,
Yeah.
you got it. At least try Thailand. Come here and see because it's got everything, like you said. You want to
Well,
party,
another thing
you want the nightlife, go.
Yeah, another thing I didn't mention too, because there are a lot of places that I would put up there with Thailand, like I really love Colombia, I really love places in Mexico, but Thailand is super safe, and that I think
Right.
that like Colombia and Thailand cost about the same to live an amazing lifestyle, but Thailand I can walk around at 3:00 in the morning in Bangkok without a care in the
Feel safe.
world.
Right.
I can't do that.
agree.
I can't do that in
Colombia.
in Rio de Janeiro or Medellin, Colombia, or somewhere like that. So to me, safety is very valuable, and there's only a few affordable places in the world where you have a real high level of safety compared to your cost of living. There are some great places where you have great cost of living, but safety can be sketchy. Depending on where you are. So that's I forgot to mention that earlier, but that's another reason I really love Thailand is for what you pay for how much. I mean, the reason countries are cheap usually is because the local people don't earn a lot of money, and that's what keeps prices down. And that's partly the case in Thailand as well. But for whatever reason in Buddhist culture, that hasn't created a lot of crime. A lot of poverty hasn't created a lot of crime. And so that's what makes Thailand unique. The only place I feel safer in than Thailand is Japan, but to live the lifestyle I live in Thailand would cost
Yeah,
me
it costs. Yeah,
say
shit.
$5,000-6,000 a month, if not
Yeah,
more. You know, to
easy.
live in
If more, yeah.
Tokyo or Bangkok, both I think are equally safe. Maybe Tokyo's a tad safer, but barely.
Yeah, five
But the
times as much
cost is
money.
like,
Yeah,
yeah, the
yeah,
cost
yeah.
is
Let's see.
astronomically
William
different.
says. William says. They're gonna wake up. Yeah, Thailand has something for everyone, every age, plenty of variety, city life, beaches, and it does. Like I said, you can. When you come here, whether you're 35, 45, 55, 65, 75, it's got something that you want. It's got a place that's completely low key. Like me, the perfect place if I wasn't here and going and visiting Foreigner Joe and Pachuap Curry Con, I would be over there. Nice and
Yeah.
low key, nice beaches, perfect for me. Not perfect for a guy that's, 35, 40 that wants to be in downtown Pattaya and partying and up all night long and there's nothing wrong with that if you're, if that's what you want to do. But where are you going to go that you can get that big of variety? Any aspect that you want to live, you can find right in Thailand at a very reasonable you can do it reasonably. So
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I agree. You brought up the couple that gets $3,000 a month, and a lot the cliche thing in America is you move to Florida.
Right.
I mean, for $3,000 a month, that couple could move to Phuket, have a beach view, have a beach view condo for $1,000 a month with an extra bedroom for their kids to come visit for
Right.
$1,000 a month, and they still got $2,000. And Phuket is probably the most expensive place in Thailand, other than
Right.
maybe Bangkok. It's probably about equal.
Yeah.
But they can
It
live in
was when I
Phuket,
went there.
on the beach in Phuket, $1,000 a month, and that's like living La Vida Loca. They've got a maid that comes in, every couple days.
Yeah,
And
but I don't know if it's because people don't know about it. They've never, because up until when I was in Costa Rica in 2015, how I found out about Thailand was one of the guys, the expats there that I met. His best friend or one of his good friends came to visit him for 2 weeks, or a week or 2 weeks, 2 weeks I think, and he'd been living in Thailand in Bangkok for 2 years.
yeah,
So I sat and started talking to him, and he started telling me. I said, "Are you kidding?" And from that point on, I tried to get my wife to go, but she's always been, "Oh, it's a third world country. The animals are pooping in the streets, and I don't want to go there." And I finally had her talked into right before we found out that she was sick. I had her talked into going for 6 months. So when she did pass, I said, "Why am I hanging out here? Why don't I just go? What difference does it make? I'm not going to sit in this big house all by myself." So I went, and it was the best thing I ever did. Best thing I ever did, no doubt.
yeah. I tell people all the time, just try it.
Yeah.
Just cut. And it doesn't have to be Thailand either. You can maybe
any
Thailand.
place.
Maybe Thailand's not. I find it hard to believe that somewhere in Thailand can't be for anybody because there's just so much. Like there's so much variety, whether it's living in Chiang Mai, living in Hue Hin, living in Pattaya, living in Bangkok, living in Phuket, living in Kamala like you did, living in wherever it is. Like there's just something for everybody, and it's going to be more affordable than almost anywhere that's comparable.
And if you're there for 6 months and you change your mind and say, "Hey, maybe I want it a little bit more exciting. I'm going to go to the next place that's this much more exciting." Then 6 months after that, I'm going to go. I really want to get deep. I'm going to Pattaya and living right on the So you can do whatever. Oh no, this isn't for me, and then you can take off and go back to the nice quiet place. So I agree. It's so diversified. You can do anything here in Thailand. Live any way you want. From I would say at a minimum for me, even looking is between $1,000 and $1,200 a month. I think the ideal for a couple is in that 2,500 to 3,000 range, or 2,000 to 3,000 range, or a single guy that just wants to have a good time right around $2,000. And that pretty much, like I said, it all depends on what do you want. You can get a condo here for $1,000 a month, or you can get a condo here for $200 a month. So it all depends on what you want to live, how you want to live. So it's up to you. Me, pretty much where I'm living, would I want an ocean view and all that stuff if I had the money? Yeah, sure. Is it a necessity? Not really. I'm going to be sleeping there, for Christ's sake. Most of the time I'm going to be, out and about, So it depends on your lifestyle, I guess, and how you live. So Mitch, you look depressed.
I just looked something up. Yeah. Here, I'll just put it. I'll just click it in there. You'll see it in a second.
Yeah. Anybody
I
asking
heard-
anything?
Hey, Mitch, I heard you're coming to Italy. I lived there for 2 years. I lived in Gaeta, Italy for 2 years.
Wow. Awesome.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
loved it. I love Italy. I love Italy.
I've never been. So
You're right,
I have
Gator.
family over there. So
Long gone. He's talking about 3,000 in Florida.
bet MR.
Can't live
Yeah,
unless you
get
want to
that.
live in a trailer. He says.
Elite visa.
He said they're gone. Yeah, I would agree. You know, there are some nice places, and if you're into that, we looked. We liked the motorhomes. We wanted to get a big diesel pusher. That was going to be part of our plan. Our major plan was, let's go to a new country for 6 months every year, and then the ideal time to travel the United States, we'll come back and do the diesel pusher thing for the other, 3 months, and then spend 2 months. And Florida was an option because they had the nice golf course with the big house and the big garages for the pushers and stuff, and they were reasonable back then, 10 years ago. So, and the communities were okay. It's kind of nice, older and all that. But I'm not really into old people. I don't want to be, feeble.
Yeah.
I want guys like that are in here that are between 50 and 70, but they got 35-year-old minds and want to go out and ride motorcycles and tour Thailand and
Did you see
and
that
that's the people that I want to
75-year-old
be.
gentleman that Chuck was golfing with in his last video?
Yeah, he was
Well,
buff.
he's
He's in
He had-
excellent
he had-
shape.
Yeah,
It's
he
funny
was.
how you say you think you're old. Like I sometimes I feel old at 45. When I'm around, like, because there's so many people in Thailand too, like digital nomads that are in their 20s and mid 20s. But that's so. So I was in the military for 20 years, and the average age of people in the military is about 20 years old. And so in the beginning, I was with people in my age group. But as you get older in the military, obviously you become an older person. But when you pull into places like Pattaya, when you pull into Phuket on U.S. Navy ships, and when you pull into Japan, wherever it is, you all go out together. And I realized towards the end of my military career, when I was late 30s, early 40s, that hanging out with younger people keeps me young. Keeps me more young and vibrant. And I realized that whatever I do, I'm gonna incorporate that into my life in the future. And so I've always tried to do that. Like I like hanging out with older people, and I like hanging out with younger people, but I like hanging out, like you said, older people that still are,
Young
35.
mind,
I
yeah.
mean, I think I'm still like, 21.
I think most of the people that are on my channel, I don't have a bunch of subscribers, obviously, but the people that are on all the time, the 20, 30 people that come in, they're all great people. They have minds like that. I don't want to be around anybody that's negative, depressing. I don't want to put myself in that position. And I mean, like I said, my whole life, I've never been afraid to tell anybody that. If I don't like somebody, I'm going to tell you, I really don't like you. So, I don't need any more friends. So go away. I'm just as open the other way. Hey, I like you. You're a good person in my eyes. But so I've always been that way. Like I said, most of my life I wasn't the greatest person in the world. That's why I don't drink. I mean, I drink. I'm lucky enough I can go to a Mexican restaurant, have 2 margaritas, and switch to 7-Up. A lot of people cannot do that. But I am the worst person in the world on alcohol, and I haven't been intoxicated for probably 15 years, maybe more.
Yeah.
And I'll never. That's what I tell everybody on here. When we meet up and everybody meets and stuff, you'll never see me intoxicated. It'll never happen because I'm just not a nice, pleasant person to be around. But I do enjoy the people. I can't wait I'd like to meet you, and I'm sure that I will eventually. And Mitch eventually, and everybody that's in the chat now are eventually going to come here, and hopefully we can get together. And if I was single still, and I would do exactly what you were going to do. I would have bought the scooter, headed out on the road, and just done videos.
Yeah.
And went from town to town until I got burnt out on it. But I would think that it would take a while.
Yeah, that's the plan. And I can stay where, if I find somewhere I like, I can stay for a month or two. Even when I end up in places I like, I always get burnt out. That's why I don't sign long-term leases, because even I could be in the most beautiful beach. I could be in the freaking Marriott in Phuket with ocean views, and eventually it's going to get old to me, and I'm going to want to see
Yeah.
something else. I'm going to
It's
want
the
to go into
best
the
time in the world to
countryside.
be here. That's for sure. If they open up stuff and get out and around, it's still going to take a while to recuperate. So there's still going to be plenty of places for more than reasonable, even on short stay.
Well, that's what I was. You asked. We kind of got. I kind of had a long answer earlier, but you asked about like why Thailand now, and that's another reason. Another couple of reasons is I wanted to see Thailand different than I could ever see it before. Probably, you're probably never going to be able to see Thailand this way again. And it's not. It's a way I haven't seen it. I was in the Navy. I was in a Navy operation that responded to the tsunami here, so I kind of saw it like in a devastated state. Phuket especially, but and so that was like kind of I have that perspective. Like I went to Phuket before the tsunami, then I saw it after the tsunami, and then I saw it after it recovered from the tsunami, and I kind of like being in Thailand now. Not that I want this to continue, but I kind of like the idea of being able to see Bangkok like this, being able to see all the different islands. They're all cleaned up. It's given the Thai government time to get them all cleaned up.
Exactly.
And I kind of want to see those postcard places like they look in the postcard. Without 500 Chinese tourists on there taking pictures on the beach. I want to be able to see the beach with just the beach and the sunset. So and also it's so affordable. I mean, it's like Thailand's always been affordable, but right now it's like ridiculously affordable.
And I mean, even if you're going to stay a place a month, you could get a hotel where you don't have to worry about nothing. No electricity. You includes your breakfast. You're overlooking the water, and all this stuff, and still only pay what, $500-600 for a month. And
even if you want to go like ridiculously expensive, I was looking at the Hilton in Phuket, which is right on the beach with an ocean view, ridiculously expensive. I looked at the most expensive suite for a month, and it was under $2,000, which I know sounds like a lot to anybody. But if you came to Phuket any other time and booked that suite for a month, it would be $12,000.
Yeah, easily.
You can get it for $10,000, or you can get it for $2,000 American.
Right.
Like
that's unbelievable.
I wouldn't do that, but I wanted to see what can
you get? Sure.
Yeah.
And that a lot of people doing, and I've seen some other vloggers doing stuff too. Now they'll when you're out on the scooter and you're going, drive someplace, look around, see which hotel you like, go in, ask them how much, they tell you, then go on Agoda and say, I can get it on Agoda, cheaper, book it, walk in and get your room. So it makes it nice. Hey, I forgot to say hi to Stuck. Hey, Stuck. And I did post that link, Brock. Brock was asking for that one. I think he comes over and watches your stuff too, I think.
Oh, cool.
Right.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun getting to tie like Mr. Mitch, Stuck in Florida, Robert McInasia. They've been coming into some of my live chats, and it's interesting because I have this whole van life community in there that are kind of invested in me, and like talking about Thailand to them, and then being able to have like Mitch and Robert and Stuck in Florida kind of chime in on different things as well has been pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. It's nice. I'm gonna let Brock in here. Hey, Brock, your wife isn't making meatballs, is she? We got any meatballs being made, or you're safe from the meatball committee? Can you hear me?
I've subscribed to a lot of the folks that are on your channel, Kevin.
Yeah, it's a cool community. I mean, it's a cool. The van life community has the same spirit as the expat and nomad communities. Like it's the same spirit. They're just executing it a different way.
You liked it, obviously. I think
I love
would
it.
enjoy van life. I think I would like it too. I think I would enjoy it. It's right up my alley.
In the U.S., there's so much free, like it's very affordable because you can just, you go out in the middle of a national forest in Grand Teton with these amazing views for free,
Right.
Like
I know.
It's amazing.
It's cheap.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, I agree. I can't do it now, but I know that there's a couple of Esquire is a vlogger out of Hua Hin. He's actually a pretty big one. And
I've watched a little bit of Yeah, I don't know
Did
if
you
you know
watch
this,
the
but I'm
little
a
van?
lawyer. So when I saw Esquire in Thailand, I was like, oh, let me check this guy out.
Yeah, did you check out his little van that he's doing some camping in? His little
Yeah,
that
I
little
mean,
minivan.
I'm always
Yeah,
curious because I'm like I know the YouTube game, and I'm always like, is he really sleeping in that thing at night in Thailand?
I
Like,
doubt it. I doubt
because
it.
it, man,
Yeah,
it
it's
if you
tiny,
don't have
but
a
I
really,
believe he is. I believe they are actually.
he
I do.
probably
Yeah, I think.
is.
Well, you know
Man,
what when he
wet
first
my butt off all night.
yeah he just did a
And
thing
when he's
saying
in
that when he
Australia, he's
first came
crazy.
here he got a room and just a fan for the first year he was here until he got to YouTube and all this stuff. He just did a video on kind of how he ended up in Thailand. But yeah, in their particular case, I think that definitely they have slept on the in their tent on the beach. Now
Yeah,
me, I've been looking into because I've been kind of having something in the back of my mind saying, it'd be kind of neat to do a motor vlogging camping deal here, even if
yeah,
it's only once a month. But it would have to be in the high country. See, Surin, it gets decent temperatures to where I went out in the morning a couple months during the year to where, oh shit, I might have to put something on over my t-shirt, at 6 o'clock in the morning. So it does get fairly decent, but they do sell fans, 12-inch fans with USB charging deals that I have in the States, because I also got that because even when it's cool out, I like a fan blowing on me, and it might do it. So what I'll do is try it here. I'll buy a little cheap tent, set it up in the front yard, put the fan on me, and see how it is to sleep overnight. And if it
yeah.
is, I'd like to do a video on that because I don't think that there's a bunch of people in Thailand doing that. There are a
No, that
few,
would be
but
cool. No, I mean,
yeah,
I think that would actually be really cool. Like, people are asking me, I'm getting on like a bunch of people asking, hey, you should do van life or camping in Thailand.
yeah.
So I
It
do
probably
have a
would be a
story.
good thing, but yeah, go ahead.
So last time I was in Thailand, I was up in Chiang Mai, and I went even more north to do some hiking. And we had a driver, and me and my buddy went. We were going to hike down to this waterfall, and the driver didn't speak English, and he was kind of like, we were like, hey, do you want to go? And he was like, no. And then he was kind of seemed like he was trying to stop us from going. But I couldn't really tell. Like, I thought maybe he was mad he had to wait or something. I was like, don't worry, we'll pay you more money. Don't, you know. And anyway, so we go on this hike, and we can tell the trail's abandoned. There's like a hut halfway through the hike that's abandoned. And all of a sudden we hear this like growl, and we both looked at each other. It sounded like a big cat growl. And we both looked at each other like, did you just hear that? And of course we like basically walked out slow. And anyway, the driver took us to an eating spot, and I was talking to like this local Thai lady. I said, yeah, we were just hiking, and maybe it was just in our mind, but we thought we heard like a growl. And she's like, yeah, there are tigers and panthers in this area. And like, yeah, like it probably wasn't a tiger because they're so rare, but she said it could have been a panther. Like, and I was like, what? And then I Googled it, and I was like, oh yeah, there are panthers all over this northern Thai area. And I think back on that, and I'm like, man, I don't know about hiking in
Yeah,
Thailand.
one of the places that I think I'm going to go to when I first try it, because I'm going to at least try it. My wife told me of a place that was fairly close to here, and it was up high, a little bit high in the mountains, but they also have camping places specifically for camping.
Oh,
and a lot
cool.
of people, and that'll probably be the first one instead of just going out in the middle of nowhere by myself. Something
Yeah.
happens, and but she'd never forgive me if I died out in the middle of nowhere and let some cat eat me or something. She'd be
There
a
are
little
lots of
pissed.
camping places, Dave. They're pretty
Yeah,
rustic. Nothing like the camping you're used to in the States.
yeah, but
They're cleared
the
areas.
the stuff I was doing motorcycle camping, I'd only go for a couple of days. So I even had a bag shower if I wanted on the bike. I had everything. I spent, God, the lady down at the post office when I was setting up for it in where I lived up by Bass Lake in Central California. Christmas again today, Dave. Christmas again. I go in every day, and Amazon was just sending me package after package with stoves and chairs and everything for motorcycle camping. And I've got some stuff now on the Forza. I've got an air pump, first aid kit. a cooking kit, and all this kind of stuff. So I've got a 90-liter dry bag, and that's about the setup I had in America. I still have my bike there. I've got a 955 Tiger Triumph.
Cool.
It's still sitting there, 2006, and awesome bike. Just a little high-centered, not great, but I'd go off, Brock, on the fire trails up in the Sierras. So I'd be out in the middle of nowhere. So I'm used to it not being that way, but I'm only used to going. If I go to a place, it's only going to be for 1 or 2 days, just to do a video, relax a little bit. I like solitude every once in a while, and I haven't gotten that in a while.
Thai camping is not so much solitude. There's lots of people in their two-man tents in cleared, terraced on the hills. They've got cleared areas where you just pitch your tents. You can see lots of them, and a little.
And that would be the first. That would be the first place that I would go to, and then if I liked it, then I would go for solitude. I would try to find some place that I could go. Probably easier now to find something like that than pre-COVID. When there was a million people here. So I'd probably find something. But I think people would. Yeah, people would. I think people would like it. I know that they liked it in the United States. A lot of people watched like van life. Motorcycle camping was another big genre deal that people like.
Do you guys watch Itchy Boots? She's a Scandinavian female that travels on her motorcycle. If you're interested in motorcycle travel, her YouTube channel is really good. Like, she's nuts. She goes out in the middle of on the side of mountain cliffs, roads on her.
What's the name of it? Mitch? Can you find it? It's
called Itchy Boots. She's huge. She's like a huge YouTuber. But she's a Scandinavian woman, and just really, she's a true blue adventure motorcyclist. She's like out in the middle of nowhere.
I watched a bunch of stuff, but I said
Kevin?
Itchy Boots.
Itchy Boots. It's kind of a play on itchy feet, itchy feet, like you want to travel. Itchy Boots, because she's wearing motorcycle boots.
Yeah.
But when I was doing it, I wasn't really. I only did it a couple of times, like 3 times, 4 times. But I never thought about YouTubing it. I didn't do anything until I got here, and my first videos were just when I went to hotels or something. No talking, no nothing, just showing it. And then when I did an interview with Joe about how I got here and all that, he told me, I said, I don't like looking at myself. I don't like talking. He said, well, get behind the deal and do some talking and slowly inch your way into, watching yourself on camera. Now I actually enjoy it. It's fun. And plus it burns up part of my day. I'm retired.
Yeah, I'm loving this because I'm burning up quarantine time.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's the way it is for everybody. Everybody in here, they get to think about all sorts of different stuff in an hour, hour and a half, or almost 2 hours now.
Well, plus the interactive nature of it, where you can get, you like, if someone's got a question about, whatever, they can ask it. And I jumped on here and asked you about like the medical insurance thing, because that's like, a question, I'm curious about. So that's another thing I love about it. Someone just asked, what's the air quality like in Thailand? So it's actually pretty good. I wear a watch that tells me the air quality and the UV index. And I just came from Hawaii, where the air quality was good, but the UV index was terrible. And here in Bangkok, and maybe it's because there's nobody here right now and there's no traffic, but right now the air quality is like a 42, which is anything in the 30s is pretty good. So it's just a little bit outside. For comparison, if you were in LA, it would be like 82 right now. So it's actually not too bad, but I think it's because of what's going on right now. I think Bangkok would normally be bad. But if you're anywhere, any other part of Thailand, it's going to be in the 30s. Unless except for Chiang Mai during burning season.
Yeah, during burning season. But otherwise, like here in Surin, it's awesome. I got no complaints. The air quality's good. Everything's good. They don't burn too much. We never get it like they do.
And if you're anywhere near the ocean too, the air quality is almost always going to be good, because the ocean breeze and will wash.
And if I had my druthers, that's where I would be. But my wife's here in Surin, so this is where I'll be. But see, like I said, she doesn't. Once I get this crap gets over with, I want to go to that was my original plan. I'll live in Surin, but I want to take 3 and 4 day jaunts to Rayong or Hue Hin, to beach cities, and spend 2 or 3 days, get my Jonesing out with the beach.
Yeah.
And because it was nice. That 8 months I was in, I had a PCX then. I would get up, because I'm like you, I get up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, and I go to bed at 8 or 9 o'clock at night. So I'm up, I can watch the sunrise. I'm riding along the beach in Kamala over to Patong. It was just every day. So you get used to seeing that.
Yeah.
And I've always enjoyed the ocean.
Yeah, that barefoot beach lifestyle that you can live in Thailand on $1,500 a month. It's crazy.
No, exactly.
I think Thailand Route lives on much less than that, actually.
Yeah, you're probably right. Nomad says it's 22 in Pala. I think that's Pala Beach, right? Or
yeah, 22 is amazing. I mean, that's really, really. 22 is in the green. It's like anything under 30, like 38, 39 is like good. It's in the green. And even right now, Bangkok's only 40, so that's like for a big city. Although I think it's because there's not a car moving around.
There's definitely because I was there during high times, and it was like you could almost cut the air with a knife.
Yeah, I'm sure it's 99. Although Chiang is the worst though during burning season in Thailand.
I've driven through Bangkok with the fireys going through the streets, hosing down the air, trying to get the crud out of the air. Didn't really do anything apart from make the streets wet.
Well, it's crystal clear right now. Like I'm right in the heart of Bangkok, and the skyline is freaking gorgeous. It's great.
What else? Was anybody?
That's another thing. I mean, the title of this video is like, why Thailand? Like, and my thing is why Thailand now, and that's another reason. Like, I'm in Bangkok, and it's like super crystal clear.
Yeah, the biggest thing
and you're in nice solitary confinement, Kevin.
What's that?
And you're in nice solitary confinement.
Yeah. Pretty soon.
Yeah, the biggest thing for me would be concerns now. I would still come. Don't get me wrong. I would have went to Phuket because I'd rather be trapped in Phuket than in Bangkok. But,
I would have went. If I could do it over again, I would have went to Phuket.
Good. Yeah, and they, and maybe you can, you've actually had everything. You might would check on and say, can I jump from here to Phuket? Maybe they'll let you jump.
I read today they're actually going to open up flights from here to the Sandbox, but that's it, from here to Phuket.
Yeah,
so,
and I think they're gonna open from there to Samui too.
Yeah,
flights
and I'd probably go to Samui.
Yeah, but if you could do that, then everything would be fine. But for me, it would be fine. But my biggest concern right now, if I was in Bangkok, in your position, is where am I going to be able to go when I get out of here? Am I stuck in Bangkok?
I mean, I'm already here for a month. I've got an Airbnb. I need to finalize my visa, get it put into my passport. So I had to do that anyway. So I knew I was going to be here 45 days, counting quarantine at least. So hopefully in that time, I can't see Bangkok continuing to be locked down past that. I mean, at some point economically, even if their numbers are high. I mean, it's funny because it's not funny, but like I think the entire Thailand had 11,000 cases yesterday, which is the highest it's ever been. Well, in the United States yesterday, it was 40,000. It's all relative. It's all relative. New York, at New York's height, it was like 200,000 a day. And so, it's even though it's bad from a Thailand perspective, it's not as bad relative to other places at the same point during the pandemic and other places. So
yeah, the biggest thing that I see now is, and according to my wife, the Thai people are pissed because they feel that their country should have gotten and procured more
Dave, but I gotta head out.
Okay.
Gotta head over and see my dad.
Yeah, I'm gonna end it in 10 minutes anyway, 2 hours I think.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of cougars stuck, but this wasn't a cougar. We're talking about noises in the woods. So anyway, hey, thanks, Kevin. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate it. Rock
Mitch,
and everybody
thanks.
in the chat.
I'll talk to you later.
Run so fast, but
no worries.
Thank you.
they're pissed off because they didn't procure enough of the vaccine so that everybody could get it.
Yeah.
A lot of people are scared to take it, but I'd say 90% of the people here want it. They want it now
I've had it.
Yeah, they know
I've had
that,
COVID and I've had the vaccine.
Yeah, they know that if they get it, things are going to open up. They can't keep it closed forever. I think that, that's my personal opinion, I think they're going to stick to being wide open, like they said in October. I think no matter what happens, they're going to try to procure as many. Hopefully the United States will give them vaccines. I know they did already give them 1.5 million of Pfizer. Japan gave them 1.5 million. I think more people. The United States, I know the U.S., I just know the way they are. They're hoarding the stuff. They've got millions and billions of doses, and they're going to let the shit go bad before they give it to somebody, So I hope they don't. I hope they give it. It doesn't have to be just Thailand. There's a lot of countries out there that could use it.
Yeah, no, I agree. They should, and people aren't taking it in the United States now. Most people that wanted to be vaccinated are vaccinated. So you know what? Give it to other places that want it.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
my daughter
Yeah, I mean the U.S.
Go ahead.
The U.S. is doing well now because not only do they have the access to the vaccine, I think 60% of the population is vaccinated now, but also so many people got it. So, like I got it, my mother, like so many people got it that we have the natural antibodies. One of Thailand's Achilles heel was they did so well at preventing it in the beginning. Right. Now they have no natural immunities because nobody got it. So, they're actually struggling because they were so successful.
That's true. I didn't think about it that way. But what I see when they see that 11,000, what I've always said since the beginning is when the recoveries and the cases, regardless of what they are, how many, when they get closer together, which they are, because I know in one instance that I watched, it was 11,000 new and almost 9,000 recoveries.
Yeah.
When that evens out, things will get better. What my wife said, the biggest concern here in Thailand now is because the hospitals are filling up.
Yeah.
Which means that you're not going to get on a ventilator.
I mean, the good thing is they have blueprints for this. I mean, every country last year was struggling with the same thing. Too many cases, not enough hospital beds for the severe cases. And so the good thing is they do kind of have a blueprint. What sucks is they did such a good job. Had they had access to a vaccine, like it would be, but the big failure was they just couldn't get the vaccine quick enough to. Yeah, and then the vaccine they did get was crap.
Right,
turns out it was
Sinovac.
crap.
That's what my wife got. Her and the 19-year-old both got both doses of the China one, which I'm understanding is pretty much useless against this new Delta. But Stuck says 49. The U.S. is 49% fully vaccinated. I didn't know that. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I thought it was closer to 60. Maybe it's 60 that have at least one. But there's about 40% of the population that won't get it. You can see it right now in the states that have low vaccination rates. They're having really a hard time right now because of Delta. They're struggling. And I don't want to get into the politics of it because I don't think that's really important. But I was like,
I don't have a choice.
20 years I've had everything shot into me.
Yeah, you're screwed.
I wasn't scared of the COVID vaccine. I've had 13 anthrax vaccinations. So
right, yeah. I don't have a choice. My daughter called me up on Father's Day, and she never calls me up, and she spent a half hour begging me not to take the vaccine. And I said, but if I want to come and visit you and don't worry, you don't need to come visit us, Dad. Just don't take it, But I don't have a choice. I want it now because as soon as it opened up for travel, I know they're not going to let us travel around again unless we're vaccinated. And I mean from Providence to Providence. Even when they open it up, they're going to want.
You really need to get the vaccine, Dave.
Yeah, supposedly I could get. She doesn't want me taking AstraZeneca or whatever it is. She definitely doesn't want me taking the China one. She wants me to either take Moderna or Pfizer. That's what my wife is telling me she wants. Now that stuff's not going to be here until the beginning of October, is from what my understanding, at least for me. But if the United States gave 1.5 million doses of Pfizer, and I know they're going to give it to doctors because doctors got the Sinovac or whatever it is, and they're having a real problem with it. So they're going to give them as boosters. But what is there? United States citizens in Thailand. What are there, 25, 30,000 at the most? How come they're not offering that to us? I don't understand. Well, how come we're not getting at least, how many people are here getting enough doses for them, and then give it to whoever you want. But I can't get it. They say the embassy now, I heard, gave out AstraZeneca in Bangkok for 1 day. They said they never would because I wrote them and said, can you please update me on what's happening with these 1.5 million doses? And they wrote me back saying, sorry, but the U.S. Embassy doesn't do that, and you need to follow whatever Thailand's guidelines are, and thank you very much for writing. And then 2 weeks later, they open it up for 1 day and sell out on whatever vaccines they had, and I know they went.
My government actually sent notices at the last minute to the embassies, American, Australian, Canadian, and I think the British, and they basically said, if you register today, you can go in tomorrow.
Right.
And,
one of the guys, Do More Life,
at a hospital.
Jeremy from Do More Life, somebody had notified him, and he called in, and he got it. I think he got it yesterday. I don't know. I didn't watch.
I think there were 100.
It sucks that they're not doing that.
I know. I don't understand.
Yeah,
I heard France did, right? Brock, did France?
Yeah.
France did it.
Yes, France did. Yes.
Yeah, they gave a bunch and inoculated their people that belong to France. My mind.
That's why they need an organization that lobbies for expats. Like we used to talk about it in the RV community. Like there needs to be an organization that lobbies, because that's the only way you get anything done in politics. But it seems like I got the J&J, which was the one-shot one. Like it seems just natural, and there's tons of J&J vaccine, and it's really effective against Delta too. It's like the most effective. So it just seems natural that the embassy could and it doesn't need to be refrigerated like the other ones. It just seems natural that the embassy could get 30,000 J&Js, hire a couple.
My wife was asking me just the other day, I wonder if she goes, can somebody that's coming to Thailand from the U.S. get the vaccine? And I said, well, I don't know if they could or not, and bring it to me here. And I'm going, but it needs to be refrigerated. And so it really doesn't have to. I wonder if somebody could get it.
The J&J does need to be refrigerated, but not at the level that the other ones do. The other ones need to be like in this weird like deep freeze.
30 below or something.
Yeah. Where the J&J is more like a traditional flu vaccine.
Yes. Well, I know one guy that I know. He flew from Bangkok to the United States, the East Coast. Got out, went and seen his mom and dad. He's a younger guy, 35 or so. Went and seen his mom and dad. Got up in the morning, drove over to the Walgreens, walked in, got the Pfizer, sat in a nice comfortable chair, he said, and relaxed. Went back to his mom's house, and now in 2 weeks, he'll go back, get the second one, hop on a plane, and come back to Thailand. And my wife said, do you want to go back? I said, no. What happens if I get stuck there? What happens if I don't really want to spend 16 hours in a tube right now on a plane? So no, I ain't going if there's any chance that I cannot get back to Thailand. Because they might say, we don't want you. But I've already got my retirement visa. I'm married to a Thai national, so I don't think I'd have a problem. But you never
still
know,
have
man.
to do a certificate of entry, which can be like if you watch my video, it can be a huge pain in the butt.
Yeah, I saw that was the first thing I saw.
I'm vaccinated and I've had COVID, and
the first thing
I'm
I saw
the safest person in Thailand, man. I'm vaccinated and I've had COVID.
The first thing that I saw in your video, one of your videos, the first one that I saw, you were saying, "Holy crap!" Pretty much that it's Friday. I only have 2 hours left on Monday morning, and if I don't get it, then I'm not going to get it. And then I missed the one after that. Mitch told me. I said, "Did he ever get that?" Oh yeah, he got it. He's on his way.
I got it the day of my flight. I got it.
That's what I heard.
I got it like 6 hours before my flight.
Unbelievable.
Which is fine.
I'd be stressed.
To be honest with you, the only reason I got it was because I was working with Thai Elite, and they can get into the embassies because they're affiliated with the government. And so Thai Elite called the emergency Thai citizen number on my behalf. So they called the number that's reserved for Thai citizens, because I had called that and they were just like, we're not going to help you. Like,
right, exactly.
You're not a Thai citizen in an emergency. And I'm like, I just want you to tell the guy sitting next to you to look at my COE because I leave tomorrow.
Yeah,
but,
no kidding.
Yeah, but they got a hold of them. So had I not had that, I don't think I would have got it back.
Yeah, I'm not going to get the Sinovac, Mandy. Yeah, I'm going to have to wait. I'm a firm believer. My doctor, who saved my life 3 or 4 times when I was in the hospital, he's great. I mean, a heart doctor, and I know that he's looking out for me. And so I told him, when something hits the private hospital, I don't care if it costs me 5,000 or 10,000 baht a shot. Don't make a difference to me. Let me know, and I'll pay the money, and I'll come down and I'll get it. So I think that the private hospitals are going to get some, whether they buy them, procure them, and charge, foreigners for them, which is fine. I don't care. I never really cared much that, I have to pay more than a Thai person to get medical help, or I have to pay more to go into a national park. Well, it's their freaking country. So what? Who cares?
I agree with that too.
It's
still cheaper than anywhere else. Like it's still
exactly.
It's
now,
still more.
If you're worried about that little bit of money, then maybe you shouldn't come. Maybe you should stay. Stay at home. But a lot of people get aggravated about that. I see a lot of videos on it and stuff, and I'm going, don't make no sense. So what? I had to pay 200 baht, and my Thai wife had to pay 20. So what?
Well,
$6.
They have a similar thing in Hawaii. It's called the Kaima Aina discount. So if you're local, you get a discount. It's just. I mean, 30% of Thai economy is tourism. I mean, that's just part of coming.
It was the same way in Costa Rica. Once when I first got there, I could go into the cash register and watch somebody in front of me, a Costa Rican buy some vegetables. I bought the same vegetables and it cost me more. And after they realized that I was going to be here, after 2 months, 3 months I was there, they considered me a local, and they gave me a break. Wasn't quite as much as the Costa Ricans, but it wasn't as much as they were charging just a normal foreigner. They gave me an in between thing, which I thought was nice. They didn't have to do that,
Yeah. I tell people too, it's not everywhere either. It's not everywhere. Like if you go to a night market somewhere that's not in a tourist area where the prices are inflated, you're going to see the price and that's what you're going to pay. Like you're not. It's not like every single thing is 2 prices. If I book a Airbnb on or I book a place on Airbnb, it costs me what it costs me. Like I don't get a discount if I was Thai. You know what I mean? Like 90% of what you do that stuff doesn't even apply.
Yeah, I don't know if you knew this too. When they had the
Thai nuns to a national park not far from me in Perth, I had 20 of them in a minibus. The girl on the gate, when paying for the ticket, said, "Is this a family group?" Get cheaper by the family. I think it was about $30 instead of 20 a head. I said, "Well, I guess they're my family because they're all my sisters." Poor girl looked at me in horror and shook her head, gave me the cheap ticket.
Yeah, well, shit. What they did, just so you know, last time after we came out of it, when they first released everything last year, if you were Thai, you could get a hotel at a discounted rate. It was called Travel Together or something like that. It was called. And if you went on to Agoda and you punched it in, and my Thai wife put her Thai number in there, we'd get a reduced rate on a hotel.
Oh, cool.
And it was considerable. Plus the government was giving out, because I know that Chuck and Paige did it a bunch. They would also give them money. You get from the government 1,000 baht for your meals when you went to this vacation, because they were trying to get people locals, Thai people, to start using the country. From people in Bangkok to go down to Hua Hin or to Rayong, or to leave and go vacation. So it was good. But I think I'm going to end this deal. I think it's been over 2 hours.
Thanks for having me, man. You helped burn 2 hours of quarantine time.
Come on anytime you want. We just sit here and do this all the time. We bullshit. But I'll be watching for sure.
No operations or medicine this time.
No, we'll have to do that. We'll save a geriatric live stream for the next time. All right, guys. It's been great. I really appreciate you coming on. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Bye, everybody. Yeah. Y'all have a good day.